on the Jump Out Girls, Charmaine and Fatima. They like to
Hey.
go by Maine and Tima.
Yep.
Yes.
So, as a family, we had to get together and do the collaborative thing because we don't be pocket watching, right? We be
No.
supporting, collaborating.
We
So,
finally are here. I'm excited, man. This has been a long time coming.
yes, and we're going to do more of this, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
we are a
Yes.
family and we do want to
Yes.
do more collaborative efforts. Um, we think that the work you guys have done in jumping out of traditional finance, Jump Out Girls, into DeFi is incredible. We watched a lot of your content. We were there from the very beginning, show one.
Oh,
And I do want you and Tima to just kind of introduce yourselves a little bit, give them a little bit of your journey, and then we're going to get into the good talk.
Okay.
you want to go first, team?
Yes, that's no problem. Usually you do, but
I
hey,
know.
look. I'm Tima of the Jump Out Girls. We are cousins who grew up more like sisters. We've been obviously knowing each other our whole lives, but we kind of jumped into this whole, untraditional finance, Bitcoin, all the stuff that came along with it because it was a life changing experience. Honestly, over the pandemic, but you know, um, during that time when everybody was shut down, we just kind of like collaborated and put our heads together and just really just tried to figure out ways to survive outside of the day to day of what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm Maine. And pretty much what she said, yes, that's how we kind of fell into it. It was something that was, it wasn't something that we were looking for. It kind of came, upon us in the situations and things that happened. It literally started off, like the whole entire journey started off by credit. We were talking about credit one day.
Mm-hmm.
And it compiled, I mean, literally, like, it after that it went from credit. We had like every type of topic that we could possibly think about: credit, real estate, and I mean, we were just going on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And we were sitting there one day and was like, somebody had came in and hearing us talking. They were like, wow, this is interesting, that's interesting. And we sat there, we looked at each other like, wait a minute, well, if somebody like this is thinking this is interesting, they never, literally walked in, how many other people out here thinks this is interesting and likes it to be broken down in the simplest form? Because he
Mm-hmm.
literally said to us, wow, if I, because he was talking about how he had $5,000 in, was it Bitcoin, Tima?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think it was in
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Pretty much he lost it or he took it out, or I can't remember the details, but the way we explained certain things, he said, wow, if somebody would have said it to me like this, then I would have did it totally different. And so for us, that was our aha moment, because we are all about that. You don't explain, be very plain, please. You don't have to be very technical. You don't have to do all the bells and whistles, because that's what intimidates people. That's what get people frustrated like me. So we really said, you know what? I think we might want to do something about this, because there's a lot of things out here that a lot of people need and want to hear, but they're intimidated by the information based upon the presentation. And we didn't want to present it like that. We wanted everybody to be comfortable, like you're sitting in our living room, we on the couch or we at the counter, and we're talking, and it's relatable, and then you can you can really, really, really let your guard down and actually communicate. But when you feel intimidated, or it's just,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't make sense, or you're not going to be interested in it. And so the way
Mm-hmm.
it was presented to us, we were like, wow, it was presented to us in a simple form, so why wouldn't we do that with other people?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great.
Yeah.
That's great. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
So, when you guys, I always like to. I'm sorry. I always like to have a timeline. So, what time did you guys really get into Bitcoin? Like, what year were you You really?
Well, we were advised. Actually, somebody on the show on Gentlemen in Crypto told us to stop saying when we got into it.
Ah.
I forgot who it was. It was I cannot think of his name right now.
That's
But
funny
he's all
because the gentlemen of crypto are on right now. They said happy 2024 episode 107. So shout out to the gentlemen of crypto
Hey,
who allows us
um
to be cousins as well. We are cousins
yes.
now, by the
we
way.
Yes.
love it. We love y'all.
It's quiet
We have
money.
so
It's
many
quiet
extended
money.
family.
The only reason I ask is I just wonder, like, when people actually come to that aha moment, and what time and frame and
I
and
think
what.
for Yeah, I think for us, the aha moment happened at different periods, right? Because when we first learned about it, we all were separate, like in separate areas of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on a U.S. embassy base,
Oh.
and yeah, so I was working overseas. My family's back here, and it was just like it was buzz. Like people were just talking about it, like on the compound. I was like, "What? What is this? Bitcoin?" And all these guys had I forgot what it was going for back then, but they literally, were like, "Hey, you should learn about it." So I still have the recording of the first person who actually spoke to me about it, and I just so happened mentioned it to Maine and our brother, and I was just like, "Yo, y'all heard about this?" They were like, "Yeah."
She was ready, right?
Right. We didn't know anything. We hadn't read a book. We hadn't read a white paper. We literally just jumped in and was like, all right, we in. Like, no, like we didn't even ask any questions, right? We didn't know nothing about a wallet. Probably wasn't even pronouncing it right. We had no idea, but we jumped in. And I think those aha moments came 2020, 2021. 2022, because for me, and I think I could speak for Maine as well too, for me it was like it wasn't just Bitcoin that was like, okay, this is something that's like incredible and life-changing. It was everything that came with Bitcoin. So it was all the educational information that we were getting, right?
Yep.
So like we started reading books, and then we found the gentleman of crypto,
Yep.
and then we bought their course, right? So it was like we started reading Creature from Jekyll Island. Maine, if we should have recorded ourselves reading that book, we would be reading the book. I wish I had a book in front of me. We'd be like, what is this? This shit, like they robbing us, like literally screaming, because it's like stuff that and it changes your life because you look at everything different. I'm talking about we started growing farms. We started like it literally was like life changing, because it just wasn't Bitcoin. With it, what came with it was the educational information. So
Yeah.
I think that I can't say an exact year, but I would say for me, it happened over different years, and everything like changed each year, right? So it was like, okay, what is fiat? Garbage, right? Like you understand that whole system. Then you understand the business side of it. And then you understand the media and the propaganda and everything. And we're just like watching it. And then like you don't see, like the reason why Maine and I loved you so much is because you don't see this and it's like expressed in a healthy way, right? You don't see, like we're like, they want us to fight. They want to separate the man from the house, right? I'm telling you, Maine and I have a video that we haven't released yet. And I'm not afraid to. We're not afraid to, but it's going to cause issues.
Okay.
Because
Nah,
it speaks
I'm
to
going
it.
to release it. If it's the truth, let it go. Let it fly.
We gonna release it. We gonna release it, but we gonna build up, build up our momentum back, build up our, just consistency back, because it's like for Maine and I, like we don't promote singlehood. We don't promote like we got husbands, like we promote that, like
Yeah.
So make a
I
long
need
story
my
short.
man. I want my man.
You should see some of the emails I get though.
Yeah.
I
They be
bet.
mad
I
at
can
me.
only imagine.
They be real upset with me.
I bet.
So.
Yeah. So long story, short, like for me, it was just like year over year. Ever since we learned about it, we learned something new. We find out new information. Oh, you learn about this, you hear this, like you research that. So it's just, I can't even speak to how much has changed our lives and our perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, as a family, we were discussing, because y'all, these are our cousins now, right? I just want to let y'all know.
Yes.
As a family, we were discussing that we felt like the identity of, I'm not just going to call it the crypto space, I'm going to
Okay.
call it the DeFi space in general, it has an identity of singleness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is the platform of discussion feels missing in relation to how Bitcoin, crypto, how it affects you as a family, how it benefits you as a family, how you use it concerning children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, godchildren, et cetera, et cetera. So, Charmaine, you were explaining earlier some of your thoughts and your insight, and I just wanted you to run it back for the audience because it was extremely insightful, and we were feeling that way as well.
Yeah, like what we realized is that it is not really talked about with kids. It's talked about leaving, like when we're gone, this is what I'm leaving my child.
Yeah.
And so, but it's not talked about like my child learning it or understand what it is. And that's another thing that Tima and I talked about is like, well, we can't just leave them something and they don't know what the hell it is. Like they have, because then it's not going to be there for long. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? If they don't know what it is or what, it's not going to be there for long. So we said that, us being moms and you as well, you all as well, parents, you all know it's like, well, when you talk about this amongst yourselves, the children are around, they're listening. So don't talk about it amongst, because what I noticed was when Tima and I was talking about it a lot amongst ourselves, and when she was in Atlanta with me, my children were around, and we weren't talking to them. It was us. And then they would randomly come with something that I didn't even think they were paying attention to. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, no, come on, sit down. We're going to figure these things out. You're going to listen to some of these things, and not like nothing forceful. Like we have games, books, children appropriate things to be able to get them into the understanding. Because yes, if we're talking about building generational wealth, then they have to know what this is, how this works, because if they don't, then they're stuck.
Right.
You understand? So we literally said we wanted to communicate with more moms, parents. We have like our mom, like our little, like our mom clique, because we feel like as far as the women are the ones with the children majority of the time. Not all the time before it like, but I'm just saying, majority of the time, the women are the ones that are around the nurturer and all of these. So we wanted to reach out to a lot of moms and like, moms, do y'all know about this? Like, are you all talking to your children about this? Because these are things that you all want to let them know about, due to the fact of if they don't, it's dead and no security. And what we incorporated games in our house, books in our house, to the point where they started coming to us and talking to us about certain things. And it was very important overall for Tima and I to talk about this, because we didn't even have finance conversations in our house. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I don't think that we're the only one, meaning like no one sits down and tells you how to really conduct and control finances and how to invest. None of those were conversations. And we wanted to change that,
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't want our children to get out here and not know how to, use a credit card, or
Manage
it's
a
a lot of
house.
things that it sounds simple. Like, why would you say that? But no, I'm sorry. There's a lot of people who don't know how to do simple things like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so for us, educating the children is one of the best things ever. And then because they soak up everything, they know how to, they already have the internet down pat. So it's like, why not?
Yeah.
Tima, did you want to
Huh?
chime in?
Oh, now she. I mean,
You
when she
covered
speaks,
it.
I'm speaking. I look.
You want to talk about homeschool?
No, no, exactly, because like as we, we're all similar ages and stuff like that. So it's kind of like in the household when we were growing up, some things were discussed, but the things that like important things were discussed, right? But it feels like things in terms of like money and financial knowledge, and not to like it's no diss to our parents or, shade to them, but it's just like some things they didn't know themselves.
Right.
Right. So it's like they were preaching education, like,
Mhm.
Maine and
Mhm.
I were in New York together going to college. Like, but we're, I look back at it, hindsight 2020, it's like we went because it was such a push, like, okay, this is what you do. You get your education and that's it. Okay, what do you do after that? Like what, you get a job. What do you do? Like, what do you do with the money that you're getting? Do you know anything about a 401k? Do
Right.
you know anything about how to invest that money? Do you know anything about taxes? The answer was, and even though we were educated, the answer was no. We learned it along the way. So it was so important for us, especially now that I can speak now in the whole I have a child thing, like when before it was just Maine, it was so important for us to have these conversations because they weren't consistent conversations growing up
Right.
because they just didn't know. But now that we know and we've learned, there's just no reason why you can't speak to them because you got Chat GBT.
Mm-hmm.
You got all these books for dummies. You have, so
Books
many
for
different.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like what you learn, physics for dummies, science for dummies,
I got a couple.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I got one right now. Stocks for dummies. I got it
Mm-hmm.
right now, so it's like you have all these different books. So it's easier to have those conversations. And those books did exist back then, but again, they didn't know, and I think it would be a disservice to them if we didn't have those conversations.
Absolutely.
Because I think that you see it today and you see it just within the community of people, not just that one group or another group. You see it where people get money and they have no idea what to do with it.
Yep.
And it could be an athlete, it could be an actress, actor, it could be an engineer. It
A
doesn't
doctor or a
matter the
lawyer.
trade. Yes,
It does
because
not matter.
they live paycheck to paycheck too.
Right.
Right. And it's just like you just want to stop that. You want to stop that
That
as soon
cycle.
as possible, that cycle, right? Like we've all stopped the cycle of the whole, single parent single parent, agenda, right?
Right.
We stopped that, like, because as I said before, they want the man out the house. So that stopped. Okay, we got that down. Now what else can we improve on? And I feel like everybody can improve on money talk in the house,
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And so I wanted to, I'm sorry, I didn't do this at the beginning of the show, but I should have. We have been doing a series where we talk about investing, right? We always talk about
Mm-hmm.
investing, but we also talk about what we call a life portfolio.
Yeah.
And so
Mm-hmm.
this type of show right here in the life portfolio, excuse me, I'm sorry, portfolio is about family
And education.
and education, which is huge in your life portfolio. And one of the things we say about a life portfolio, you guys might be familiar with, is that in the United States, if you had a portfolio, they would tell you to diversify. And so
Yeah.
what we say is, if you have a life portfolio,
Same thing.
you need to do the same thing and diversify.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is
Mm-hmm.
very important and a key component, as you say, family and education. So that's why we are glad to have you on to give this information to the audience and us as well.
So when I was growing up,
Hmm.
I'm the baby, right? And I'm from New York. So
Hmm.
like when my older brother, right, he's
What part
14
of New
years older
York?
than
Hold on,
me.
hold on, hold
Be
on.
quiet.
What part of New
When
York?
when he was born, they lived in they lived on 100th Street, Manhattan. They lived in Left Rack. I was born in Left Rack. But I grew up on Long Island, right? So I'm telling you a funny story. When I
So hold
turned
on, hold on. Can I stop you guys? Because we do have to have a little bit of levity. When she did grow up on Long Island, and when I first met her, it was like she was highbrow. She couldn't even say hi to me.
Don't listen to him.
Couldn't even
She
look
she grew
at
up on
me.
Strong
Look
Island.
at me. Couldn't even look in
Strong
the camera.
We
Island.
just had our 23rd wedding anniversary, so he's back there, right, in memory lane. Don't listen to him, right?
Okay,
He's
my
trying
bad.
to
Oh,
All right, I
happy
get it. I get it.
anniversary. That's
for 23 years
amazing. That is so
married.
beautiful.
There's an adult upstairs.
Is he 22 now?
He's 22. Sean 22.
Wow.
And then
That's
there's a baby who's
crazy.
6.
Yes.
So we got the 16-year-old. I have a 13-year-old as well. Maine. So,
Okay.
but I want to tell you, because just kind of touching on what Tima was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was 9, my dad was going to teach me how to pay the bills.
There you go.
He would teach me how to write the checks and when to mail it out. And when the bill came, he would sit down with me, right? The problem was we grew up on Long Island, so they always had money in the checking account, right? You got to remember, by the time they had me, they were good to go in life. My husband had to teach me how to budget a
Yep.
household at 22, 23, right? We're not in
Yep.
our prime. We don't live on Long Island.
I'm sorry, my bad. Continue.
You got to make the money last all the way through to the end of the month, right? So no, and this is funny, right? Because I was like, no, my dad taught me how to pay the bills. He's like, baby, your dad taught you how to pay the bills. And there was always money in their checking account. We're 23, 24 years old. No, we were 21,
Yeah,
22.
he's pretty young.
We were airmen in the Air Force, right? Enlisted members. So,
Mm.
we wasn't making a whole bunch of money. He said, I need to
Mhm.
teach you how to budget so the money lasts from the 1st to the 30th. Right?
So
Get that
he's like,
15.
no, I got this.
Right, but the first, that went right to the rent. We had a little baby. You know what I mean? And when we got paid on the 15th, he's like, baby, this money got last to the 30th, so I'm going to show you how to manage a household. And he told me, I think you were 22, I was 21. And he said to me, um, if you can manage a little, you're going to be fantastic when we have great.
Mm. I
And
like that.
little things like that. Like in my mind, I thought my dad taught me when he had the best intentions to, but there was no like rationale. You know what I mean? It's just write the check, send it off, make sure the bill get paid on time. That's great.
Hmm.
We have a surplus of money in the bank. They're not 22 years old. You know what I mean?
Right.
In their 50s, right? My parents are older.
Yeah.
But then when it was time for me to do it, I would have failed because I didn't understand that. I was just, we have the money, let's pay the bills, but you're not your parents. Ain't nothing left. So, taking that lesson, Simon
Well,
homeschools the children to
but
a collegiate level,
the ultimate lesson is that we always say, you go from your father's house to where.
to your husband's
Yeah,
house.
and that's what we talk about stuff like that, and so if no, like you said, not saying anything bad, but he taught you what he
With the
taught you,
best intentions, right?
and
With the
then
best of
Yes.
and
intentions.
then you kind of pass
Absolutely.
on, and
And then,
yeah,
we understood like, okay, let's not make that mistake.
yeah.
In the homeschool curriculum that Simon puts together,
Oh, it's great.
they do investments. Reggie actually just did a paper on XAU.
He did on. So I had him do a paper on the gold and silver outlook for 2024. Did a great
Great
paper,
paper.
great explanation on it, and a lot of research. And we, because we're big on precious metals as well, because we've always
Yeah.
have been. And so we always teach the kids about precious metals, and they're very excited about it because if you go in these places like Atmex and what is it, SD Bullion, JM Bullion,
Mm-hmm.
if I get it backwards,
Miles Franklin.
Miles Franklin. Like, you can make it fun for the kids,
Yeah.
right? They get like the silver ounce, and it looks like a Captain America shield.
Yeah, the kids get
Yeah,
Marvel,
yeah,
they
Mhm.
they get
get
they
Disney.
get a Batman, they get what's the Batman's name holding up the Lion King, they get Lion King
Yep,
stuff,
Disney.
Star Wars.
Hmm.
So we make it fun for them as far as investing, and they take to it. They're very smart children, very very smart.
We had them create their own gaming coin because they are, of that age.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I really want to drive home is even if your children, and this is for the audience, even if your children go to school, right? You definitely want to create like a little mini workshop for them, even if it's just like an hour on Saturday, and incorporate these lessons that we're here talking about because those are the life lessons they need, right?
Mhm.
You really do want to supplement kids' education. I'm 1,000% sure that Bitcoin Zay had like a camp for
Yes, he
kids.
did. He did.
Yeah.
Yes,
He did.
yes,
Yep.
he did. Yes, he did.
He had a
Yeah.
great camp
Yeah.
for kids. So, I was glad when I was talking to y'all about how we're gonna, really incorporate it to the children, not just leave it for them, but to incorporate them in on the wealth building process, understanding the mindset from Jump Street, right? You don't want them to be adults and have to unlearn all the bunny blocks, unlearn poor mindset, unlearn how, somebody poorly handled obstacles and stumbling blocks concerning money. You can kind of get them on the right path. And that is part of generational wealth building, right? You got that beautiful baby, Tima. As soon as the child start talking, even if it's just the little Bitcoins that you buy, right? You should buy one. You can get a Bitcoin silver ounce. And, look at this. What's this? Bitcoin,
Yeah.
mommy. You know what I mean? And really start to incorporate that so it can become part of their collective consciousness from a young age instead of having to learn about it after the
That's
fact.
dope. Can we?
Yeah,
We got
because
some people jumping in the comments. I didn't know if you want to read.
I just want to grab some of the people in the comments. They like when we talk to them. They are cousins too, so they be wanting us to talk to them.
we
The
in here.
The gentleman of crypto said, y'all have been killing it. We're back online. More to come. Y'all check out the gentleman of crypto every day at 7. It's 8, I think.
I thought you said tennis.
Is it 10ish? Yeah, I think they say it's something-ish, and we're a few hours behind. Crazy Bronx Don, the Fulbert Colonel. Hello, Colonel. Shout out to the Colonel. Nerd Inc. Peace family. Crazy Bronx Don team has said, I love for dummies. I laughed too when he said it. I got all the books for dummies. Crazy Bronx Don, the Colonel, said that crushing that cycle is paramount, and it is challenging in a completely intact nuclear family. Just kind of killing that narrative that we hate each other when there's a lot of fully functional, healthy, married relationships between black men and black women, but the squeaky wheels is all the oil, right? The quiet wheels just do their job and just go quietly. It's the squeaky wheel that's going to make all the noise. It's the broken wheel. It's the wheel holding the whole wagon back. And that's what's going to get all the attention. Will Hobdy said, hey, everybody. It's great seeing y'all tonight.
Hey, Will. What's up, Will?
The Colonel said, my parents gave me a wonderful elementary level of financial education. Yes, he did. I understood what he was trying to do, but hubby had to come in and tighten it all the way up, or we was going to be broke. I was going to pay them bills, and we was going to be hungry. Baby ain't going to have no diapers. It was going to be a mess. Simon gave me the junior high school, and university level education. And that's true, right? And this is when we talk about the importance of relationships. I've gotten a significant amount of education. I'm the professor. I'm the professor here. And that's why it's important for all of us to collaborate, tell our stories. I love what Maine was telling me when she was like, I've been feeling like that too. And we really need to talk to these kids like now. And then eventually, like you said, Maine, they come to you after a while.
They do.
Like,
They
I
do.
learned this, I got this. Mom, you know about that? I don't even know about that. And I'm on top of this stuff every day of the week. What is this?
No,
So,
they do.
yeah,
Also too, the main when we were at the 2021 Bitcoin conference,
conference, yeah.
we purchased a book written by Charlene. Oh, I always mess her last name up. But basically it's called Sade's
Oh,
Satoshis.
Satoshi. Yeah.
And Maine's son, I have a copy, obviously, but Maine's son, her youngest, loves the book,
What's it
right?
called again?
Sade
Sade's,
Satoshi.
It's
her
a
name is
children's book?
Charlene. It's a children's book, yeah. And
Okay,
she's
I
in
want
the
to copy
she's the
that.
one. Yeah, she's part of Black Bitcoin Billionaires,
Oh,
and she she's familiar with Zay and the whole space. But her last name I think is like it's like Fardy Depo. It's
if
like
you put the
FAR.
book in the chat, babe, we can
Yeah, I'll
find,
put it
we
in the
can Google
chat.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
we can
put it
put
in the
it in
chat.
Amazon. I want to
But
grab
yeah, I
that.
mean, it's a great book. So it's just like little things like that. Like for me, like Maine bought my daughter some Bitcoin stuff already. So it's like, just to see it, just visually seeing it. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's helpful just to see stuff. But the books, especially like for us, we love books. the books just because, you know, I used to be in the house and main son be running around talking about, read this. I want to read this, you know. But it's you know, it's like little things like that can just be helpful just because she breaks it down in the simplest form for obviously a 5-year-old at the time to read, right?
Aw.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put
Look
it.
at what I found as we were talking. I was like, wait a minute, this is perfect timing.
Oh, you got
There
it.
we go.
So
That's
this is a
another.
game.
I love it.
Nice.
It's a game.
Oh, okay, that's beautiful.
It's a card
Does the game
game.
go with the book, babe?
No, this is from what? Oh, what is the name? This fam, because we met this family, correct, Fatima?
Shamori,
Um,
yeah.
but this is another family.
Okay, put that in the
Sham,
chat too, and let's
that's
support
Shamori.
this
Yeah.
community.
I'm about to put the book in the chat right now.
Stack said he's joining us on YouTube, so we got to get Stack on the show too. I need to get Trek
Oh,
on the show.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't
We
put the damn.
we got to link up, family. The gentleman of crypto, we got to link up. We working on getting Bitcoin Zay. We just got to tighten up days and times.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we
Yes.
always want to talk
And
about it.
and Zay, when we're talking about books, for those of you who are not familiar, most of you should be. Bitcoin Zay has a book called Bitcoin for Black America, and he did a second
Mhm.
book. So you definitely want to. Is the second book Bitcoin for Black America like is it the same title? Anyway, if
Here's
you
part
go
two.
on
Yeah.
Amazon and put Isaiah Jackson in there, both books should come up. But it's a great, to me, it's a comprehensive read, and it's for us, written by us.
Written by us, for us.
So
Mhm.
definitely support that
So,
as well.
so,
Yeah, if y'all could put those in the channel so people have access to it, that would be great.
so I got a question now for you guys. Um, I guess you guys probably run into the same situation that we do when you try to talk to family members, friends, coworkers, all this stuff about Bitcoin and stuff. How do you navigate that? Because to me, it's a headache almost to the point where you don't want to tell anybody anything because I don't want to be bothered with it. How do you guys navigate
Oh my God.
that? I know y'all go through it. I know you go through
I mean, I agree with you. Like, okay, well, hold on. It started off like, oh my God, we wanted everybody to know. Everybody. Like, I don't like, that I'm not gonna lie. That's how for us it started off, right? And then as time went on, and the more we were learning, because it was like literally like as soon as we would learn something, boom, this is what we learned, right?
it.
And as time went on, we were like, damn man, this shit, I ain't tell man, whatever. They gonna have to figure this shit out on their own. Because it was one of
Come on,
those.
I feel like Denzel.
Did y'all read that article of the guy who was selling Chuck E. Cheese coins as Bitcoins and he made $1 million and went to prison when people figured it
What?
out? Yes,
Hold
girl.
on.
I read you the
What?
article. That guy was selling Chuck E. Cheese tokens
So what's it worth?
and was telling them that
What?
they were Bitcoins. He made $1
Okay.
million in this scam. Google it.
I'm
Oh
about
my,
to
$1
right now.
Chuck E. Cheese
oh
tokens.
my gosh.
That
Oh, he's in
sounds just
prison.
as bad.
They gonna put him under the prison, but
Oh, he's going. That just sounds. We just read. Okay, so
I'm telling that story though because like how she said, y'all got to figure it out for yourselves. It just shows you how wide the ignorance still is. Chuck E. Cheese's face is on them tokens. What?
hold
Oh,
on.
I got Bitcoin tokens, but anyway.
So
Oh my God. Chuck E. Cheese tokens sold as Bitcoin.
there you go. Did you find it?
Yes.
Yeah, he made $1 million or a little bit more than $1 million, but
$1 million.
we got babies. You know Chuck E. face is on the front. It's a big mouse on front of the coin. It say Chuck E. Cheese around the coin.
Shout out to Chuck E. Cheese because we took our kids there for a lot of birthdays.
Which
Oh
is why
yes.
I don't understand how he made $1 million US.
He was from New York City. Oh,
That's an
scamming.
indictment on me.
Scamming. They
Yeah, New
scamming up in New York
Yorkers.
City. They
He said he was from
scamming.
Shut up.
He was from
He was
Queens,
so
New York,
he
wasn't
was
he?
so
No,
Queens.
no.
No. Shout out to Queens. My husband's from Queens. I
Is
can't
he?
diss
Oh, what
Queens.
part? What part? What part?
He's oh my god. Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. What part is it called?
I can
St.
start.
Albans. St. Albans.
St.
Oh, he's
Albans.
from West Angeles.
St. Albans. Okay.
Shout out to Belly, the movie.
Yeah, St. Albans. Um wow, that's crazy. But you know what, the one that was crazy that Maine and I were like, it used to drive us insane. In the area where we grew up at, there was this guy that we kept hearing about. His name was Bitcoin Rodney. We were like,
Did y'all read that article this week?
My bad.
Go ahead. Tell me about Bitcoin
so
Rodney.
they had the nerve to have him on the local radio station here because he was living in Maryland. And I was just like, what? Who is this clown? We in Miami. What was he at, Maine? What's his
Prime
joint?
112.
He's at Booty Trap. He had all the spots, right? He had all the spots. Money. He got everything, right? And I'm like, yo, this dude's a scammer. Man, we saw the article the other day. I said, oh,
They're going to put him under the prison.
Yeah,
Oh, he is going zizzowed. Like, but it's things like that where
That make the
unfortunately
face look bad.
it makes
Absolutely.
the face look, and that's the problem with like when
Horrible.
we were explaining it to people, and when we were trying to help people understand and get into, Bitcoin, it's like a lot of times they were more interested in like the quick flips, the NFTs, like, oh, can we get into this, Dogecoin, Sushi Coin, all these different coins. And it's like, if you're a trader and you understand those mechanics and you understand how that process works, then fine. But we're talking about something that's more long term and for the a bigger picture, right? And I
Low
think
time preference.
the mindset and the frame of mind of people is harder to think that way because you're thinking like right now and how much money we can get right now and in order to flip it, so, and I'm not against, if you're a trader and if you do things like that, but most people don't understand or don't know the mechanics of how to trade and what it takes and how the patience of it, so it's like they're like, oh, I'm trying to flip this coin real quick and get this money. And we're like, that's cool if that's what you're going to do, but also put some to the side for Bitcoin and really understand it. But I mean, with the books like with Isaiah and even like another book, Bitcoin Vegan, and another guy named Dadu, all these guys, they have great, different perspectives and different mindsets as to how Bitcoin has helped them. You got Bitcoin Vegan who, was incarcerated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now he just got a grant for a documentary they did on his transition from prison to, out of jail and now and how he found Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So it's like you have all these great stories that every different group can relate to. Like Isaiah was in college, and learned about it. Was it in college? Or I think he was in college when he first heard about it or whatever. And it's like, so you can have all these different groups that can relate to different segments of people because not everybody's in jail, not everybody's in college, you know what I mean? So it's like you can revert and advise people, but it's also just about doing your own research and people actually reading and understanding what it takes because quick money don't last.
And often
It doesn't
it
last.
isn't even, it's imaginary. Quick money often is imaginary. It always comes under the facade of no risk when it's all the risk, right? Because it's quick. But I think for our community, we are not, first of all, they work hard. When I say they, the people, the elites, the shadow government, the conspiracy people, they work hard to program that microwave society where everything is
That Pop
instant
Tart.
right now, right
Pop-Tart, I
this
like that.
minute.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas legacy families, they understand a 100-year plan. When Michael Saylor talk about his 90, that is something that's normal for them. For us, it isn't. There's a struggle kind of mentality when really we should be out of the womb, in the womb. We should be teaching our children low time preference. Even the birth of a baby, it takes 9 months, right, for that child to come to term. You just and then when they're born, it take 18 to 21 years for them to become an adult. Like, just understanding intrinsically, like, anything worth having, anything of value is going to take time. We
Mm-hmm.
should be teaching our children collectively about delayed gratification
Yeah.
and understanding that you'll get way more gratification down the line than you would if you're cutting corners and doing stuff quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
just want to
Yeah.
we're shouting y'all out in the chat, so I want to read it. Stack put the book in the chat for you guys. It's Charlene Fadirepo. I don't know if I'm saying her name right.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Edeb and L said greetings, family. What's up? Crazy Bronx Don said Bitcoin Zay introduced and exposed him to Lolly. His account
Yeah.
remained dormant for about a year until he watched the Jump Out Girl. Shout out to catapulted his understanding of Lolly into the stratosphere. So you can see your direct impact on somebody who was consuming your content. And we thank you for that, in
Absolutely.
addition to him thanking you.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Anybody else?
What happened to the
Bam.
stuff I posted in the chat? Why I don't see it?
You can see some, and some of it you can't see because of the different channels. Like, I don't see that Lamar post.
Because you have to go to it's our channel. It depends
Yeah,
on
because
where
they're
they're
on the
watching.
different channels.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
However, Mar Wilson, that's your fan. You see how it's in purple and it says paired? I don't know if you can even see it, but he's your fan.
He said no.
Oh,
He's now the realist, but he's your fan. BK
Lamar's
Crypto,
on the
you first.
BK
No more.
Crypto.
You came in 21 minutes late, right? I always save your spot.
40,
Boom, you
41
first.
minutes late.
He always want to be first. No,
Oh,
Mar Wilson says not everybody wears flip flops. I'm not sure what that
Cause
means.
he always wears flip flops. It could be -2 degrees outside. He
who
gonna
wears
have on
flip
some flip
flops?
flops. Y'all know
Who?
Big
Who is this?
Lamar.
Who y'all talking
Who's
Y'all
about?
know
Lamar? I
Big
see Lamar
Lamar.
now. He said facts. And he said, I subscribe to the Jump Out Girls. We know, and we're so happy that you're here supporting them.
Yes,
So
indeed.
Lamar,
we support anybody who support the Jump Out Girls. So you a friend
Yeah,
of
he
ours.
yes, indeed. I got a
he's one of
question.
the co-found. Sorry, Lamar's one of the co-founders of Black Bitcoin Billionaires.
And he
Oh,
wears
is
flip
he?
flops.
All the time.
He wears shorts every day. He don't own a pair of pants. I'm dead serious.
For
Y'all think I'm
real?
joking. He
Well,
does not own, he don't own sweats, jeans,
yeah,
khaki
none of that, man.
pants,
You know what?
shorts every day.
So I'll just tell you real quick about that. Is I'm a retired firefighter, City of Cincinnati firefighter paramedic. Also retired from the United States Army
And the Air Force.
and the Air Force, and you were forced to wear a uniform every day, every day, every
Pants.
day, every day. And so when I retired, I said I'm done, and I'm gonna wear what I want
He's
to wear
raging against the machine by wearing shorts every day, y'all.
every day. Shorts every day. Shorts every day. It pressed me to get some pants. I feel
So
like,
I understand the flip flop thing.
but flip flops. You gotta
I don't
have.
know why Lamar wears flip flops every day. We don't know that. Lamar, why you wear flip flops every day?
Are his feet done? Do he get them
Yeah, your
done?
toes
That's
right. I
important
think.
to know.
He light on them toes. He light on them toes.
Oh
Oh
boy,
boy.
okay. All right, well, we're moving on to bigger
Yeah,
things.
let me ask because I want to ask you guys because what you said is jumping out of and in your bio jumping out of traditional finance. So when you see finance, there's not a lot of representation of women, and then especially black women. So when you get into this space, how do you feel that you need to represent yourself, and as well as just how do you feel in general being in the space that is not highly what would you say?
It's not populated with women.
Yes.
I think I can speak for Tima as well.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, we really live up to to our name, Jump Out Girls. So
Mm-hmm.
we didn't really pay attention until it was brought to our attention. Does that make sense? Like, we really were just so in the beginning, so involved in wanting to get certain information out and wanting people to understand and grasp it. We weren't really paying attention to how the setup was. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
because we were so excited.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning, it really didn't. We had no. It didn't affect us at all until we started. You know how you have these moments once you start getting into something and start going through the group. Then it was like, oh, wait a minute. You know what? You pay attention to this, like you really don't see da 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 da. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so once we slowed down a little bit to to really pay attention to say who we really need to talk to, we're like, we don't really get this. So in the beginning, it was something that we weren't aware of. And then now that we're aware, we just try to use it to our advantage to get the information across. But it's never for us, for some odd reason, it was never a place where we were uncomfortable, meaning like to talk. Like, of course, now in certain situations we have been very uncomfortable in starting this, but when it came down to us just being excited about what we wanted to talk about, that's just what it was about for us. It was just more about us being excited, and we didn't care who listened at that point and who was around at that point.
I
I think
get. Oh, go ahead, sis.
also too, no, sorry, when we went to the Bitcoin conference,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's
that's
where,
when we were like,
yep.
Did you get like pushback, or tell me a little bit more about what you
Yeah.
noticed when you got there?
Interesting.
No, we didn't. We didn't necessarily get pushback.
no.
Like she said, we got the in the environment that we were in and what we saw, we got what you would expect. Meaning, oh, you all are, the spokesmodels for da 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 da. Like what? Wait, pause. What are we talking about here? Or when we did see, some females or whatever the case may be, it was like totally totally different. It wasn't where it came down to talking about and understanding and being a part of this information. So I say all that to say when we got there, it was like we were looked at as not everybody, but some of us like, oh wow, y'all are just some cute little girls, cute little ladies walking
Uh-oh.
around here. And no, wait, pause, hold on. Listen to what we're about to talk about real quick.
Yeah.
Then come back to your statement. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
after that, and that wasn't a lot, that wasn't a lot, but that's where we had that aha moment as to what was predominant in the space.
Right, right,
100%.
Mm.
right.
I think the most people we saw that were similar to us was at the event we went to
Yep.
with Bitcoin Zay and the Bitcoin Black Bitcoin billionaires.
Uh,
Obviously, it was nothing but us, at this event with a few, a few scattered diverse,
Sprinkles and dabbles.
yeah. But in the actual conference itself, and you could spot out everybody. Like, okay, there go a brother right there. There's this person. There's that person. Oh, there goes Reggie. Reggie right there. Okay,
Reggie
like
Middleton.
hello, what's up,
yes.
Reggie? You gonna answer my emails?
He
Come
won't.
on, Reggie, answer my emails, man. If you watching.
So yeah, for us, it's just like we didn't really even think about it. But then it's just like different situations brought it to our light, like unknowingly, right? Like we were just going. We just jumped out, said we going to the Bitcoin conference, not
Right.
knowing that, and then what's crazy is everybody who had been there before and everybody who's gone and been a part of this, space before us had said that what did they say, that's like this is a lot, there's a lot of people here, it's,
Okay.
we're, in the sense of previous years,
Hmm.
in terms of representation, like wow, we're really representing. I'm like, what? Like it's like 20. What do you mean 20 people in here right now? Like how?
Hmm.
But imagine when Bitcoin Zay and them were going, imagine how many people were there.
Mm-hmm.
One to two,
That
five,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's
you know.
and I'm glad that you brought that up because you're talking about what we would call pioneers, people who paving the way,
Hmm.
like you said, somebody who was
Mm-hmm.
there that many years ago, and even you being there and like, well, it's not that really many people. Pioneer, paving the way, paving the way, like I said, for women and then also black women
Hmm.
who are paving the way and trying to build something through with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, through Bitcoin with your family. And that's what we wanted to talk about, just having your family on mind. Like, how are we going to use this to help propel our family
And give
into,
them that head start
yeah,
that they deserve,
yes.
right? But two, when we talk about legacy family, because for those of y'all who watch the show, y'all know I'm big on history,
Mm.
right? Because if you understand history, then you kind of understand where we're going to be moving towards and how things work and stuff. And you're not doomed to repeat same mistakes over and over and over again.
Yes, indeed.
Legacy families, right? So let's go back to maybe about the 1600s. Let's talk about the Balfours, who are now the Rothschilds. It took, what, about 40 generations if we're doing it 100 years each?
20 years each. I
20
do
years
it. Yeah,
each?
generation
You're
20.
doing it 20 years
I
each,
do 20. Yeah.
right? And as soon as their children are born, they are constantly indoctrinating their children into wealth. If you're talking about the Chase family, you talk about Carnegie, if you're talking about all of these legacy families,
The Bilderberg?
the Bilderbergs,
Bilderberg.
right? The 13 families and stuff like that. If you just kind of read a little bit about their history and stuff and don't get distracted by all of the diabolical, detestable things that they do, you could learn a lot, even the Trumps, right? How they indoctrinate their children from young into wealth. So they don't have, like I was saying before, there is no unlearning, there is no deprogramming, there isn't that having to figure it out the hard way. You were
Yeah.
saying, you just kind of figured it out as you go. And those are some of the things we need to adopt because they went, slavery and the Reconstruction period, for those of y'all know the history, they went out of their way to indoctrinate us in the opposite way, right? To teach us now, 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 now. And they knew if they taught us now, 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 I just got to get through today. I just got to get through this evening. I just got to make it to the end of the month. If they indoctrinate you into that short-term struggle mentality, they know that the wealth transfer will always come back to them, no
And
matter how much money you end up acquiring in your
yeah,
lifetime.
and you speak about the brother Sean Carter, who deals with, if you will, Aleister Crowley.
Aleister
I'm
Crowley.
sure you guys are familiar with him. So a lot of things, and it's a lot of education that you can receive from some of these books and
Yes.
teachings that are maybe not, you know.
But I want to talk about, so he brought up Sean Carter, right? Everybody know him as Jay-Z. Do y'all know that when Jay-Z and Beyonce got married, he took her last name as well?
What?
So, yeah, so legally, he is Sean, I think he's Carter Knowles, and she's Knowles Carter. And that was a wealth move,
Mm.
right? So that the wealth will always stay with, whether he has a son or a daughter, the wealth always stay in the family because the two have independent wealth joined together. And that sounds crazy to, regular people, but that's legacy family move.
Mm.
That is where hyphenated names came from. Right now,
Mm.
mothers want to have a hyphenated name because they don't want to change their last name to their husband name or whatever. And it's like, no, 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 no. That's not where it started. That started from legacy families understanding how to keep the wealth no matter female child or male child. The
Mm.
wealth would never be lost.
There you go.
Yeah, like we've spoken, like I said during that 2020 period, the aha moments of sometimes I would say it's being naive and also a little ignorance, like completely understand why the Rothschilds married their cousins.
They
You
want to
can
be blue
you may
bloods, yeah.
right, you may not agree with it, you may think it's nasty and all this
But you
other
didn't
stuff.
want an outsider to come in and destroy or squander the wealth.
Yes.
So, real quick, Stack said he gave that book to a lot of family members, and none of them read it.
No,
Right? We're not surprised.
shout out to Stack, man. You
Hmm.
put the work in, man. Shout out to you,
He
Stack.
said he knew they didn't read it because not one of them called to ask, how do we build a legacy for the family? Right? And these are the obstacles that we deal with as families as friends.
Yeah, and what she was saying is real because you go all the way back to you go back to Egypt, King Tut. You know, King Tut is what is he? He's a product of
Yep. That's why he was all messed up.
yeah, yeah,
First cousins.
yeah. So
Because
like
he
you
was
said,
like, no, go ahead.
no, I'm saying he's a product of exactly what you were speaking of.
The
Yeah.
family, the incest, in order to keep the wealth, and he was all messed up. That's why he died so early.
Yeah, because I actually, when we went there,
Oh,
again, one
you
could
went to
argue,
Egypt,
is it,
ma'am? You went to
yeah,
Egypt?
yeah. And the correct what Kemet,
Kemet. Kemet.
Kemet, we and we going, they stole the name too. So
Mhm.
but anyway, that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
when you look at his because they have him in, it's like on display, right? And it's like
Mhm.
he was little, he was young, you know what I mean? um and it's crazy just because when you think of King Tut, you automatically assume this grand big man, you know what I mean? It's like, no,
Like
he's
me,
literally
a
like,
grand big man like me.
Y'all
yes,
don't
just
pay him
like
no mind.
strong.
Y'all pray for
but
me. Pray for me.
My bad. I'm
but
sorry. I didn't mean to cut
he
you.
was he was like he was literally a kid, you know what I
Yeah, he was a
mean, just
child.
from the deformities, you know what I'm saying, like but when you talk about life and you talk about life legacies and just family, some of our ideas have also been like, sometimes you just got to do certain things for certain people, you know what I mean, like, hey, look, I'm gonna open this for you, this wallet, here it is, I'm gonna hold the keys. I know you're not supposed to hold somebody else's keys, but it's like certain things. It's like, and then what's crazy is once the price of Bitcoin started jumping like a couple weeks ago or a month ago,
Yeah, yeah.
man, we started getting all types of texts, calls.
That's funny.
Hey, cuz, um, hey, what was that thing you was talking about? Huh? What? Hello? Huh? Huh? Oh, what you say? Oh, you want to talk now? Because it's price. It's
That must
price.
have been
It's not.
crazy when it was at 60.
Oh, what? Like, and that's the problem. You want to jump in when it's high, not buy when it's low. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because they don't understand that concept either.
Yeah, but in terms of solution and trying to help build that legacy and that lifestyle, it just takes persistence and it takes patience. And that's one thing Maine and I, we struggle with, both of us, with patience. Like, it's just
Yeah.
something that we're we're actively working on.
Mhm.
But we also have to understand that everybody comes from a different mindset. Like, we tend to jump out and just, you don't, if you guys tell, like, when you guys, like, trust me, it's a lot of stuff that we've done and learned and, have incorporated from your shows.
Oh,
And it was just
Oh,
like, yeah, no, like our whole family, because it's like we have a lot of first cousins, like our cousin circle. And
mm.
our cousin was like, yo, so what's the family that talks about, with the different passports and going to live in
yeah,
different
that's
countries? I was
us.
like,
It's
I was
about
like, the Simon family. They were like, all right, what's their thoughts on Colombia? I was like, I think I forgot, because you guys did Colombia
He
too,
likes
right?
Columbia. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I don't
Colombia's
think you liked
okay.
it that much, Aaron. So it's like, people do hear stuff and they do
Hmm.
retain it, but it's like they retain it for different reasons. But at the same time, they're hearing it and it's good for them to, just talk about it. But I think for us, it's just trying to be more patient and just still be consistent with the information, right?
Right.
Still talk about it, even though people, they're paying attention, but they're not paying attention,
Mm.
right? But they can't say that we didn't say it. They can't say that, hey, we didn't mention it to them. They can't say that, hey, we didn't talk about it or we didn't try to tell them.
Hmm.
Um, because at some point, with all these different big companies and large firms jumping into it, it's
Now.
it's it's got to tell you something, like
Mm.
BlackRock, Fidelity,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
MicroStrategy, like, it's too many large companies like that, like BlackRock, like,
Hmm.
just Google. Maine, what's the article with BlackRock and how they're purchasing all the homes and all that stuff,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
Oh
they got
yeah.
a huge market share in the
Oh
continental
yeah.
United States of real
Yeah.
estate. Yeah.
Yeah, they
CEO
just
Larry Fink. We can look him
They
up.
just purchased. I just read this article. I can't. I'm scrolling trying to figure out how to find it, but this man, he started his business in 2006, I believe. Global Enterprises, something, something, something. BlackRock just paid $12.5 billion for this man's company. Like they
What did
bought
the
it for
company do?
um I believe infrastructures and product development like land development stuff like that.
Okay, okay.
And so I was telling Fatima, I said, to understand it, it's like a 50-50 thing. When you understand what BlackRock is and where they're going with everything, you're like, dang, no, why? But then again, you also understand that's what you do as far as a business. You build it so you can sell it. You understand?
Yeah,
And then I would definitely assume someone that,
Mhm.
of that type of talent and have that type of magnitude, they would be able to produce other things like that continue to give them, financial gains throughout the time. But it's
Yeah.
just one of those things where people are not understanding. Like you're hearing the name and you don't really understand why you're hearing it. And it's like, no, it's all about the whole. You rent everything. You own nothing. You get what I'm
yeah,
saying? And they're not understanding what's going on. Everything is being bought up. Something as simple right now as streaming and music and Netflix and all of those things. That's a very good example of how you will never own anything. Like I always use this example to my children, like you don't understand. Like I get so aggravated with these streaming services because
Yeah.
like, you're paying for something that you have had. You get what I'm saying? Or now that things are changing, there's no more CD player. It just always is something new, but that's the route that they're taking you to, that you're going to always pay for something that you've had, for something that you've purchased. Back in the day we had DVDs. Now we're streaming everything.
Exactly.
Sometimes if you have, I'm sure you have children that understand, they want to watch a movie that they've already seen 1,000 times, but if they
sometimes.
can't, but if it's not somewhere to find it, now I have to pay what, $3.99. Those things add up. You get
Yeah,
what
they
I'm
do.
saying? And that's a sign of how the world is changing into, yeah, we're nobody's owning anything.
My Netflix went from 9.99 to like 15. I still don't even know why, but the
Wow.
kids they use it heavy.
But those.
No, yes,
Yeah,
mine went up too. I was like, what is going on?
but yeah, so that's Klaus Schwab's agenda. He is the president of the World Economic Forum. That is his slogan. That's his motto. You will own nothing and you will be happy. And it's
There you
just a
go.
way to even like
Yes, indeed.
people were real hot and heavy with the metaverse and they wanted to buy real estate in the metaverse.
Mm,
And they were trying to say the metaverse is like the next NFT. And I was saying, like, hey, if you want to buy virtual real estate, Bitcoin is categorized by the IRS as property in cyberspace, and you know what you're getting, right? Anybody can sell anything on the metaverse, and it's like, to me, it's like Craigslist. You don't know that this person owns this IP address spot,
Yep.
and they're selling it. This is right next to Snoop's spot, and this is going to be worth like it's a great way to get a Chuck E. Cheese token, thinking it's Bitcoin. You understand what I'm saying? So I think part of the education is too is asking critical thinking questions, right? Especially when new stuff comes out. There was just another rug pull today, I think,
Oh, I
by
missed,
GS Partners, I guess.
missed that one.
Yeah, Ricardo, Crypto Rick was talking about it, and somebody had invested over $1 million and then it's gone, $1 million US, and it's gone. And there's a lot of rug pulls. You got the MLMs, you got all these, and like you said, it's people who want 50 baggers, 100 baggers, 1,000 baggers, and you want to do this right now. Due diligence isn't being done. You don't have a low time preference. You're not mitigating your risk by dollar cost averaging. It's a whole bunch of recipe for disaster.
Here we go.
But again, we're talking about educating the children. When your children are coming up, they won't get caught out there, right?
Yeah.
So or younger people won't get caught out there. So, I think it's watching the space is interesting. Um, I don't know what Bitcoin, Rodney. I was reading the article, but I couldn't really dial in. It looked like it was a real estate investment, wasn't it? Real estate
It
investment
was,
fraud.
yeah, it was kind of like, I don't know if you guys were familiar with when people were sending out that Cash App, where you put in 1,000,
Yeah.
you get back 5,000,
Yeah.
whatever.
Is
Like,
it like in the
it's
West
kind of
Indies,
like
we call it a susu?
it's like the pyramid scheme type of thing, where, like,
Oh, it's a Ponzi
I
scheme. Got you. It's a Ponzi scheme. I got
yes, yeah, it's a Ponzi scheme. So it's just like, what they were doing. I can't think of the name of it
And
for
then
the one.
it collapsed. The pyramid ended up
Yeah, because
collapsing.
it was all, they didn't, ran it up, and he didn't bought not cars. I guess he bought cars, and he was, here's the other thing too is, we get the what's the word? What's the word mean? Like when you get a hookup on something that they all say now, like
Plug. You got the plug.
you got the plug,
Yeah,
but
you
then
got
you
the plug.
expose the plug
Yeah.
by buying a Lamborghini and a Ferrari and
Plug.
going to the booty trap and buying everybody around the drinks. Like, just be quiet. Don't
But
say
when you look
nothing.
at those schemes, when you look at FTX, right? So here's another
Plug is
issue we
naked.
have society wise. There is this odd preoccupation and idolization of celebrities, right? And it's like if the celebrity says this, then it must be true. And you're just like, why? Why is it true? What do you know about this? FTX got caught out there with that same pyramid scheme because you had the Tom Brady's, because you had the Shaquille O'Neal's, because you had, I can't remember how many people were indicted in that. And when you start dialing down and talking to them, they don't know shit about the
Nothing.
space, right?
Nothing. Literally
Um,
nothing.
and I'm not saying Bitcoin Rodney didn't know anything about the space, but because he has that celebrity like status, people are like, oh yeah, if you say it, then it must be good. And the due diligence
Hmm.
isn't being done because they are dangling the celebrityism as a shiny object in your face. And again, all of this goes back into education.
Mm.
Yep. Yep.
And that's why a lot of people are getting exploited because they're like, oh, if Kim Kardashian is buying Bitcoin, and here come the Chuck E. Cheese tokens getting handed out, right? And it's just like, we really, really, really want to teach the due diligence, the educational aspect. When we went to El Salvador, one of the things I was extremely impressed was their what's the word I'm looking for? I was really impressed with their push for education. Yes, we're
Hmm.
giving you free $30, but before you can get your free $30, you have to take this class so you can get the education. We'll teach you how to download the wallet. We'll teach you why this is important.
Mm.
We'll teach you why we made this legal tender. And then what is the word? Like the inundation
Oh, okay.
of the education so that people can get some type of comprehensive understanding on what's going on.
Great.
Mm.
Feel like in the
That
United States, you would think adoption would be higher, but there's a weird void in the education space of crypto, and I can't put my finger on why.
Well, I'll go into it, but I will see what would you guys say about that?
Uh,
because we're dumb.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I mean,
No.
But when you
I
look
mean,
at the
I feel
adoption
like it's different
numbers,
things for different groups. Does
mhm,
that make like, I feel like the reason why is because for this group is this group or set of individuals is one thing. I feel like I can speak for the groups that look like us,
Yeah.
and I would say one of the things is because it's not it's not something that I can I can have tangible to show off. That's one thing. It's another thing of, it's not something that I know is a quick
it's not
flip.
a quick bagger,
It's not
okay?
it's not a quick flip. It's not popping. Ain't nobody talking about it. What are you talking about? Nobody's talking about it. I asked four of my homies and they didn't know what the hell I was talking about. You get what I'm saying? Because it has to be everybody. it has to be something where everybody's on board. It has to be talked about all around town, here, there, whatever. And then on top of it, I got to do my what? My own research. I got to read this. I got to figure this out. It can be complicated if it's presented wrong as well. And then a lot of it hasn't been presented. It hasn't been presented and it hasn't been presented the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
Yeah.
saying it's not in a rap song, then
We have a rap
You
song.
I know y'all do. I know y'all do, but like for real, right? So when you look at hip hop, right? Hip hop is heavy with the cash, with the fiat, heavy with the fiat.
yeah,
But them actual rappers behind the scenes, they're
Broke.
actually investing their money and doing smart things with it. At least the smarter ones, right?
Right. Right.
I have a problem with that. Right. If your record label's like, nope, can't put that bar in there. We want you to kind of push this. That's what you're pushing. They get the stacks of cash, acting like it's a cell phone. They got the money all over the floor. They're at the booty trap. Right. You're not throwing, you're not, sliding a Bitcoin up her
Well,
crack, but you know what I mean? So I just feel like adoption should be higher in 2024. And I was trying to just kind of, everybody is weighing in the chat too. Go ahead, baby.
well, because I'm going to ask them as women because, I have a big, this is something that really bothers me. I have a big hole in my heart for people who are blue collar workers,
Oh boy.
right? So we're going to talk about our blue collar workers who actually go out here and work and they earn and they may want to put their money in the Bitcoin.
Here comes the rant.
No, because she's talking about athletes and entertainers, and
Athletes and
that's fine.
entertainers, yeah.
That's fine. But I'm talking
But
about
they have the influence on you understand what I'm saying?
yes, I do.
That's how they're
but-
getting caught in these rug pulls and the Bitcoin Rodney scheme and stuff because they look like they're pseudo celebrities.
I
You're
mean, for
solid.
our community, for the community, for us, you have the only way anyone, for the most part, is listening to you is if you have to look like you have it or you know
You
what you're
got it.
talking
You
about.
got
You
it.
get what I'm saying? And in that space, that's not what it's about. But in the space of the area we're in, it's about flash. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's about, oh yeah, I know you're rich because you know what you're talking about. And that's how they get with the celebrities because they automatically assume, well, hell, they have money. So they're gonna do the right thing because they have money. No, not the case. But
Well,
we have such a heavily influence over the culture with the social medias, with the celebs, I mean, hell, we have social media influencers. I mean, boo boo boo, but a lot of them are not doing it for the right things. It's for selfish gain. You know what I'm saying? It's not for education, not to help. It's literally for selfish gain. So it's like once we can get out of our head certain things and what things are supposed to look like and what money looks like. You get what I'm saying? Because
mhm,
that's what it is, what
mhm,
money looks like. Then I think
mhm.
that we can open up to other things and patience. I feel like I heard that as I was walking off. We have to learn that as a whole, that's what it's about. It's not about overnight. Like you said, anything worth having, it's going to take time. It takes 100 years to build a solid, like we've talked about all of these things. But for the generations that we're living in and then how they are making money so fast now, like they're younger now. You have so many more younger millionaires. Like these little youngins are getting it, and I'm not hating at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one thing to get it, and it's another thing to keep it and grow it.
Right.
There you go. There you go.
We're
That's
great. Our people are great at getting anything. That's what
Anything.
we do. But can we keep it? Can we grow it?
love
That's
it.
where that's the problem.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And two,
Man.
the
Yeah.
identity of growing it and giving
Keeping
it
it.
to the
Yeah.
next generation doesn't look like flash, right? Many of you
Mhm.
guys know our story. We're here in Mexico. We do live a decent lifestyle, but we invest 80% of our income and live off the 20. So Erin wears press-on nails. She ain't going to pay all that money for no acrylics. You know what I mean? It's costume jewelry. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of money on jewelry. Like, we make certain decisions that
Mhm.
this is for the mission. This is our vision. This is his vision, right? That we want. I'm gonna piggyback off your vision. This is the vision, and this is what we want to do. Not even for our kids, because we'll take care of our kids in our lifetime, but for our grandchildren. Had
Right.
somebody thought about us before we got here, we would be a lot further along in life.
Yeah.
So we understand that, and we want to adopt that now and really be like, all right, we're going to go hard with this, but it also means not participating in some of the societal, what would you call it? Like, not
The
keeping up.
norms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not going to do that.
Exactly. And I don't know if you guys are big into precious metals or not. I am. I've always been big into precious metals, just as far as keeping your spending power.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
And it's sound money.
yeah, sound monies. But certain things what she exactly was speaking about, if you bought 1 ounce of silver per week, you would buy 52 ounces per year, and you could do that before your grandchild's here. You could do that all the way till your grandchild turns 80, 18 or 21, and this is how you
It's
transition wealth.
compounding, it's exponential, it's all the things an investor would do. And that's the way, instead of, I tell them all the time, like, we had Tino, not buying Tino a pair of baby Jordans that he ain't gonna be able to fit in 2 weeks. We're gonna buy silver. And that's really him, right? So I'm saying that, but I can't take credit for that. We're gonna buy him some regular shoes, and we're gonna, buy silver. We talk about, if you're not gonna buy a home, then maybe we can offset the home by buying property in cyberspace, which is Bitcoin. We also do precious metals because it's a tangible item that we can hand to our children. We can
Yeah,
easily transfer
and
all.
if you could, I mean, we're not going to do it now, but if you had overlay the charts and understand over time how silver does against real estate, you could see the gain you would get. And we're just speaking this into, but it's something to look into. I'm sorry. What do you guys think? I'm sorry.
And no, it's interesting because we got introduced to precious metals, what, same time period, right, Maine? 2020?
Yeah, everything was just falling back to back.
Yeah. I mean, like literally everything. We actually went to I don't know the proper term, but there's a place that sells a reputable, like well-known place that sells, the silver. And I can't remember all the terminology that comes with it. Like, it has to be you want to obviously get it at the right price, but it has to be a certain type. It has to be a certain, you know, uh,
Yeah.
coin type and all that.
Mhm.
So we went there, and it was just like, then when you started reading, you started reading certain books, right? And you understand that it started off with precious metals, right? Not originally, like it started off with beads and, rope and
Shells.
cloth, right?
Yeah,
And
so
yeah,
it's all
shells
that.
and stuff like that. But then next, before was the gold standard, right? And it's just like, you understand that at some point, this was a valuable and reliable source, and it didn't create fake money out the air, right? What you have is what you have. If this was a coin, you have this coin, right? I can't go off and create 50 of these coins without it having the particular type of indication and the right serial number and all these different things that are on the coin. So for us, when our brother introduced it to us, again, it was new. It was like, what are you talking about? Right. But then you started to think, you were like, oh, okay, this makes sense, because it's still valuable to this day. And, like I've heard you say before, Aaron, about how, we say fiat is trash, right? Which it is. However, you still use it.
It has its utility. Everything has its
It
utility.
has its utility.
So
Yes.
that's why I
Right.
don't say cash is trash, because it has its utility.
Right. And it's just like with silver and metals, it's like they still have utility.
They have its utility. Yes, they do.
It's still here. It's still, people are still
6,000 years
trading.
later. Hmm.
Right. And it's like, if you really look at how long ago silver and gold have been trading, you're talking about hundreds and thousands of years, right? Like when I was overseas, I worked with a lot of people from, you know, various countries.
No.
And when I tell you, every single person I worked with, every single person told me when I got married, make sure your husband gets you a gold band. Make sure he gets you a gold band. I was like, why? They were like, in case anything ever has to happen, you can sell it. You can, you know, it could be valuable. Right. And I was just like, not even, you know, forget the whole like diamond and how bad those are. And, you know, the whole story with diamonds and how they're, you know, sourced and everything. They were looking at it from a totally different standpoint. Right. And I was just like, oh my God. And then when we got introduced into metals, it was just like, oh, this makes sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like how, like you said, everything has its utility. At the same time, it's like understanding what you can do with it, right? Like we understand Bitcoin. We understand why, you know, in terms of like if we wanted to go live in Panama, right? We're not trying to take 20 bags of silver dollar coins with us, right? At
Hey,
the
we
same
tried it.
time,
Unfortunately.
hey, I know, I heard you guys did. Look,
Unfortunately.
and yeah, they were like, hold on, wait a minute, right? Customs was like,
Hot
wait a
mess.
minute,
Hot mess. But go ahead.
right?
Yeah,
But at
yeah.
the same time, in times where, let's just say, you know, when CBDCs are put into full effect, who do you think is going to be wanting to trade that silver dollar with you versus Bitcoin? I'm sorry, they're going to go with the silver dollar. They're like, oh, you got a dollar? Okay, here you go. You know what I mean? So you understand that concept. So that's why we don't like to say that. Maine and I have like this thing where we don't like to say like you should do this or you have to do this, because there's ways that you can do whatever it is that you're talking about in a way that benefits you and makes sense, and you can still make it work for you, whether it's financially,
Right.
physically, mentally. You know what I mean? Like it's not to me. There's not just one way to do something,
Right.
right? There's various ways. So I think with metals, I mean, our brother can tell you, like, we don't know what we have, but we have some. I don't.
Hey, that's all that matters. You got something?
Yeah, we got it. You know, like, but we know
Got
that
it.
you know, at one point he had us looking it up. Like, okay, go look at what it's selling for and what the price is. Oh, that's a good price. Go to the place, Fatima. Go buy some. I'm like, what? Okay, fine. You know, I'll go here.
Spot price.
Yeah,
Premium.
yeah.
Right.
Selling
Like
at
we didn't
70.
know.
Go get it.
He's like, that's a great price. I'm like, okay, all right, brother. But no, it's just so many different things. Like we just wish that more people just really just took the time and patience to just like sometimes understand that long-term play, right? And it just takes patience. Maine, I said earlier that you and I were working on our patience.
She heard that when she got up and walked
That's
away.
what I want.
Okay.
Something I
I
need
just
to hear
wanted to,
again.
yeah, we're working on our patience. So we're it's a daily thing that we did, because yeah, Maine and I'll be like, okay, forget it. You ain't got it. Okay, get off. But no. Yeah, and I just think I think to answer your question, Simon, you said about like what is it gonna take? Or no, Aaron, you said why don't you hear more about it and why is the education here?
Like the
Because they
adoption,
don't
you would
the
think the
adoption.
adoption would be higher in a developed country like the U.S.
Right. No, because that's part of the plan. That's part of the system. That's part of the agenda, right? That's part of, because how do you have a company as big as Fidelity and BlackRock and MicroStrategy and all these various companies and different governments and countries buying Bitcoin, and you don't have more people talking about it or wanting to get educated on it because they don't want you to, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
the media portrays it, and you know, like he mentioned earlier, Jamie Dimon, and you have all these, you know, Kramer said the other day, you know, he said, oh, Bitcoin, how did he word it? I guess Bitcoin's here to stay, and then completely changed his tune the next day, right?
What he
Because
said the next day.
I think he said that like, oh, it's hard, it's going to be hard to hedge against it, or I don't quote me on what exactly what he
No, that's no
said.
problem.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's kind of like with the media and the way that the media portrays most things, it's propaganda, right?
Yeah.
But most people don't believe that. Most people don't believe that what they're being telelied to is a lie, right?
Right.
So while you have these big companies buying it and they're announcing it, it's being announced. It doesn't click in someone's head like, oh, why would they be buying that? There's no critical thinking. Critical thinking is
Out
gone,
the door.
right?
But that's why I
Out the
said it's
door.
so crucial, the critical thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you
You know,
hear them, they'll bad mouth the hell out of it. And that's the thing that you have to learn to pick between certain things. It's always going to be some truth and a lie, and a lie and the truth. You understand what I'm saying? And when it
mhm.
comes down to, if you see, if I hear somebody in a major financial situation, like on a major platform, you feel what I'm saying, and they're bad mouthing something, but I know you're about money. I
Right,
know you're about money, but you're talking trash about something. I'm not going to believe you. I'm going to see why you're talking trash about it, because the one thing that we know, the distraction is so we don't.
right.
And they don't have not a lot of the right people that don't talk about it. A lot of the right people don't talk about it. A lot of people are not looking at Yahoo Finance and stuff like that to just kind of see what's going on. And then when they do hear the big headlines that might hit, even the social media, it's something negative that
Yeah,
will say, see, that's why I ain't messing with that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I told so and so not to do that. And it's like, that's what they want. They
yeah.
want the whole, oh no, it's not going to work, and you have to, they don't want it to be for the people. They do not want it to be for the people. They want it for themselves.
So they do. Simon and I are studying a great book. For those of you who are familiar with Lynn Alden, she wrote a book called Broken Money, and she
Yeah.
takes you from the history of, I'm going to say currency, right? Like the shells,
Oh,
shells, beads, all sorts of
yeah.
stuff that they used to use to trade. So she take you through the history, and then all throughout the book, and she starts to take you on this journey on why, like, Bitcoin, in a sense, is important.
Yeah.
She's also talking about the current monetary policy and certain things you can do to kind of hedge against the manipulation of it.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't finished the book yet, but so far it's a fantastic read. So if you guys are,
Yeah. If
for
you
your
want.
due diligence, folks, Broken Money by Lynn Alden, Lyn. She just got one N in her name, Alden. Lynn Alden is a macroeconomist.
She's macro economy,
Yeah.
out there, kind of like safety in the moves.
Yeah.
These guys, Raul
And she's a
Powell.
great resource
Yeah.
to really
Hmm.
understand the market, to really understand what's going on. And it's a lot of free game
Yeah.
that people who don't know a tenth of what she knows gonna want to charge you $199 for the little bit they don't even really know.
Right.
So just understanding that when we're talking about education, capitalizing on the free that's out there, the free resources that are out there that are excellent, comprehensive resources.
And let me tell you this: the book is 540
8 pages.
48 pages, and it
Wow.
costs $9 on
Kindle
Amazon
Unlimited,
Kindle.
yeah.
Oh
Amazon.
wow.
I think the
Yeah.
textbook may, not the textbook, but the hardcover costs a little bit of money if you need a physical
Yeah, if you
book.
wanted a physical book, but you could just get it for nine
But if
dollars
you're an
and read it.
Amazon Prime member, it's less than $10.
She
Yeah.
just did that interview.
Go ahead, babe.
She just did that interview with Natalie, didn't she?
Yes, you did. Yes, indeed. I just watched it
Yeah.
I missed that
yesterday.
one, babe.
Yes, indeed.
Natalie, what's it, Brunel, whatever?
Natalie Brunell.
Yeah.
She did that
Mm-hmm.
interview 2 days ago, I think, and I watched it yesterday. It was a really
Yeah.
good interview, and she's very to the point, and getting the information out there. So
Great book.
yeah, it's a great book. She's what would you call her? Well, she's definitely a subject matter
Oh,
expert.
she's absolutely a subject matter expert. If there's
Yeah,
a higher term than that, she's that.
yeah,
She's like the Ron Paul for women, in my opinion.
He's a
Like,
mess.
I
He's a
like
mess.
that. Who said that?
yeah.
Who said
That
that?
was
I
Fatima.
did.
That's
Tima
the
said it.
Ron Paul from that's great. She is.
Yeah.
She is. She is. She's on top of the
Is
game.
that how you say his name? Raul Paul? Raul Paul?
Oh, Rao Pal.
Raul Powell. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know who I was talking about. Yeah. Because he's a macroeconomics, person as well. Like he
Yeah.
always speaks to
real
things
good.
on the macro and the macro level, and you know, just where everything's going. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's so
used to
many
be a
different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ralph Powell used to be a
hedge fund
hedge
manager.
fund manager on Wall
yeah, he
Street.
did, right?
So
So like their perspective is just that's what I like when people like that, like when people like him and Lynn Alden, and then you have like Dylan Carter and all these different names like that, where they when they break it down on that level, you know, sometimes some of that stuff kind of goes over, you know, like some of it's like,
It's high tech, right? It's real
yeah, I'll be
technical.
like, right, like that's when Maine and I have to like pull out our dictionaries and like, okay, what's this? What's this mean? Hold on, wait a minute. You know what I
She
mean?
does a
But
newsletter every 6 weeks, Simon.
6 weeks, yeah, that
So you
newsletter
should
is
read the newsletter.
thorough.
She also has like a subscription. It's a little pricey, but I think it's worth it. If you go on her website, she'll tell you all of the stuff you get with the service. But I would suggest it, and I wish we're not sponsored by her or anything like that. But I'm talking to people who education matters to them, right? She is a subject matter expert in the markets, understanding what has value, right? Because there's stocks and all of these other things, and what doesn't have value anymore. And these are the things that the 7, 8 figure people, that's what they're looking at, right? So if you want to get from being 4 figures, some people, to getting to be 7, 8 figures, you got to do what the 7, 8 figure people do, and they spend a
Yeah.
significant amount of time in education. If you watch any YouTube video about like the wealthy mindset, the first thing that all of them will tell you, if there's 100 of them, 100 out of 100 going to tell you, they don't watch junk television.
There you go.
They don't do junk social media, only if it's something that's going to help turn a profit. They're not watching did he get arrested at his mansion. No, like I'm serious though, right?
No, yeah, 100%.
They're reading books, and they read a lot of books. I'm talking about like the people who built their wealth. I'm not talking about Sexy Red, right? I'm talking about the people who built their wealth.
Hmm.
They read a lot, and they spend a significant amount of their time in education. For those of you who are familiar with Nas, the rapper, right? He realized, like, okay, I like music, but I know that the money isn't really going to come from the music. And he decided to go into investing. And he tells the story that he spent 8, 10, 12 hours a day in these boring meetings where he didn't know what the hell was going on in
Okay.
order to kind of like dive in investing and understand, I get a bag when I go on tour, where do I put the bag?
Absolutely.
Right? Because after a certain age, with all that King's disease gout he don't want to be, dancing around on stage and stuff. The man's 50 years old. So he was just kind of just telling the story about how boring the meetings were, but he spent 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week, flying here, flying there for the meeting, not the studio, right? He's at these meetings so that he can learn and get the education he needed. He ended up investing in Ring, right, when they needed some
Definitely
startup
Yep.
money, real early,
Yep.
right? But just he made a
Yes.
whole bunch of really smart and
I was,
savvy
yes,
decisions.
he did quite a few extremely smart. And like you said, that's where it's at though, the education. You do what you have to do in life to do what you want to do in life. And people
Right,
who really understand what that means to the fullest, you know?
right,
Like I preach that to my boys, like, look ahead on every level, on every aspect. And if you really want that wealth and you really are about that, you're going to do what it takes.
right,
It's not going to break you. You're not going to, like you said, you're not going to lose focus. You're not going to worry about what's going on social media, or who had on what
right.
outfit at what award show, or who just won the Super Bowl, or any of that stuff. But that's
Mhm.
why that stuff is here though,
To
to
distract, and
entertain
it
the
works.
masses, to distract the
And it works.
masses.
Bread
Yep.
and circus, right? For
Yep.
those of you who, again, we on our education game today.
Okay.
Um, what's our guy's name? Mike Maloney. Maloney.
Maloney. Okay.
Mike Maloney. If you go to his YouTube channel, Mike Maloney's the Gold Silver YouTube channel.
Yes, goldandsilver.com.
He has a series called The Hidden Secrets of Money. and I think there's 8 or 10 episodes or whatever. Again, it's excellent. You guys should watch it, right? So it's about 10, 12 hours of your life. It will absolutely provide value to you.
Yeah.
And in one of the series, he talks about bread and circus.
And so who was that?
That was in Rome at the time.
That's Maria
In
Antoinette.
order, and Marie Antoinette in France, that in order to kind of keep the wealth transfer from the peasants to, because there was obviously no middle class back then, from the peasants to royalty, they would distract them with bread and circus. And our bread and circus today is the NBA, the NFL, it's
Super Bowl.
hip hop, it's right,
Bowl,
it's
yeah.
whatever
Right,
soap
yeah,
opera
man,
we
yeah.
love, or whatever, new series is coming out on Netflix that we're gonna we binge now, right? We don't even watch
Oh wow.
TV like we used to.
Yes, we do.
So
It's why the what is it called, the when I was in Rome, what's that thing,
the
where
Coliseum,
the Colosseum, there we go.
Yeah.
That it I
bread
mean
and
it
circus.
started like we said this the other day, like this stuff didn't just start now. Like I hate when I hear people say,
Yeah.
oh, they they trying to do this and they trying to do that now. No, this has been in play for centuries.
Because it works.
It
Because
works.
it works.
Distraction. You think about throwing a man and a tiger in a yard. You gonna look like, what in the world?
Right.
It's a distraction. But
Right.
what's the difference now?
Right.
Nothing. It's just no tiger. It's just people playing on the field or playing
Right.
in doing something where it's like it's all a distraction. It's all propaganda. It's all for a greater play to take your mind off of what's going on hand. You know what I mean? Like there's been so many times we all have jumped on the phone at midnight or late at night or at different times, and it's like you hear this buzz or because we don't watch the news, so I couldn't
Right.
tell you like what's going on, but it's just like, of course, it's going to hit Twitter or different things that we're on,
Yeah.
and it's just like, what else is being at play right now? Or
Right.
why are they highlighting this?
Why
What's
is it
going on
so
behind
heavy? Right.
right? What's going on behind closed doors?
So it's just it's a lot of decisions on how, because time is a commodity. How do you invest in your time? Right?
It is the
It is the commodity. So just even if we can get you to squander that commodity, we can get you to squander some others, and we can transfer the wealth from you to us into perpetuity, because they have legacy families and we don't. So that's why we heavy with the life portfolio. I was telling Simon, sometimes I listen, and not everybody on our channel, but sometimes you listen to YouTubers and they're
course.
talking about wealth and they do it in a very one-dimensional way, right? It seems formulaic almost. And it's like, no, wealth is extremely multi-dimensional. It is, multifaceted, and
Yes.
the mind is really where we should be starting more so than the wallet.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Way you put that together.
So we're at the 1 hour and 38
Well,
minute
read the
mark.
people,
I
read
do.
it,
I
yeah.
just want to grab some comments. Sandman, getting people to realize that saving in Bitcoin actually helps. This is one of your fans, Jump Out Girls. Stack
Shout
said,
out to Sandman.
shout out
him.
to Sandman. He says, virtually not having enough to invest, because we were talking about education. Stack, for many around the world, Bitcoin is freedom from tyranny and bad governments.
Yeah.
To Americans, it's profiting. And he's right. The perspective that different places have for it also shows like why the adoption is kind of like, yeah, we don't care about that. The Colonel said, I agree 100% to Stack. He said, that's why you got to change your strategy. Maybe talk to 2 to 3 people at a time. The Moses strategy sometimes doesn't work. Remember, Moses had the whole entire of Israel. It didn't work. Stack said, unfortunately, most celebrities have terrible money management habits, right? We used to watch 30 for 30, and I couldn't believe how many athletes had $100 million contracts and were broke after their NFL contract ended. It's crazy. What up, Cryptonomics? He's joining. The Colonel says celebrities have been hoisted up as the standard, and that's the game.
That's the game. It's bad.
Hi, KW1. I hope you're fully restored, love. Thank you for joining us. She said, ignore the distractions. Cryptonomics was talking to Tima when she talked about getting her silver. He said, always track what you have, when you bought it, how much it weighs, what you paid for it, etc. If you order your stuff off of AppMex, we are not sponsored by AppMex, we just use them. If you buy your stuff off of AppMex, they have a very concise receipt. And I have a binder with all of the receipts. That way I can keep track of all of these things. And you get the dashboard as well, right? Because you have the dashboard.
Oh, definitely.
Jessica, it says Jessica Purpose Marketing Mama. She's one of your fans, Jump Out Girls. She said, hey, and she sent you a heart. Stack said, Yahoo Finance and Investopedia will send you down the wrong path. It's so funny. He said, we need to be creating and providing the actual content, and I agree with that.
I got that. Yes.
Cryptonomics, I put the book in the chat for you, sweetheart, but it is Broken Money by Lynn Alden. The Colonel already grabbed it. He's got it on Audible already. Shiny Gudra is waving. KW1 said, most people I know and I see are clueless about Bitcoin, and they don't want to talk about it. And I'm noticing that too, and I'm like, that's crazy. That is absolutely nuts. What's Bitcoin? In 2024, you're asking me what Bitcoin is, right? So you just like, Stack said junk TV has to go, self-education. The Colonel wants to know, Jump Out Girls, could you ask the guest the quickest or most efficient way to get 20K, 50K, 100K, 500K, or 1 million Satoshis on Lolly? Do you want to give them a little bit of information about Lolly?
So I think for Lolly, oh, my
Yeah.
batteries are low. Go ahead, man. I'll let you take it. I need to get a charger.
Okay, Lolly is the extension that you put out that in the app when you purchase things or whatever. That's how you get Satoshi. You'll get Satoshi from that. So
He
I
said,
don't know.
he wants to know what's the quickest way to get as many Satoshi.
Or the most efficient way. It doesn't have to be the quickest, but the most efficient.
Go buy something really expensive.
Well, that's the answer. That's the answer.
No. With Lolly, I'm gonna go back to the fold card. I know we're not talking about the fold card, but with Lolly, I know it depends on your purchases and what items you're
Yeah,
buying, and what, that's why I said if you buy something expensive, you'll get more sats for it.
yeah,
But that's not the case with fold, right? With fold, it depends on how much the percentages you get on that item. So you could get 5%, 8%, 9% on a fold purchase. You spend that will, and they give you 50K, sats. That's a quicker way. So I'm not against Lolly, and I'm not trying to promote fold over Lolly. It's just if he's asking what's a quicker way or the most efficient, you would have to spend more for Lolly versus on fold. You could just buy the one that has the greatest percentage of the amount of the Bitcoin that you're, the purchase that you're trying to buy.
yeah. And then with Fold, it's like the credit debit card, meaning you can do it for a bill, you can do it for shopping. It's like Lolly is literally strictly for like like shopping, getting things, but the Fold card, you can do it, like I said, for your utilities. I use it for my child's tuition, to pay his tuition, and was getting those sats, baby, like it's nothing, rather than just using, like we say, a debit card or whatever. And then of course, you have credit cards that have like cashback rewards, things like that. But if you don't have a credit card, we would encourage people to, think about using the Fold card. And that's another way to ease yourself into Bitcoin from what we feel like, without the pressure of people wanting, oh my God, I can't afford it, because they'll see the price or whatever. And we say it's about building over time.
Yeah.
Right. Low time preference.
Low time preference. I love that.
Well, Jump Out Girls, I kept y'all over, but y'all were so incredible that I'm glad we went over.
We're definitely gonna have
No
part two.
problem.
Part two. Y'all know we're gonna have a part two.
So,
We have to.
Okay.
Simon and I want to thank you so much for what you're doing in the community. We love
Thank
your
you.
content.
We appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
You all rock. Like, yes, I remember when I first started watching you. I saw you and you were talking about the precious metals, and I was just
Oh,
like, oh my, it was like a confirmation for what we had talked about. It was like, so that's how I got personally hooked on, like, oh my God, you were a confirmation for us in things that we were learning, that we've talked about, things that we believe in doing, like the life, in certain lifestyle choices or whatever. So I was like, oh my God. And we always just say we feel like we were family. Y'all just never met us yet.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
kinship.
My cousins.
Yeah, that's my
My
cousin.
Yes.
cousins, my
So,
cousins, yes.
in the Dropbox, you guys, for those of you who are not familiar with the Jump Out Girls, I have their YouTube channel on there. We never ask you guys for money. We don't sell you anything, but we do ask that if you absolutely love the content, if you love what you heard today, go on their YouTube channel, subscribe, like their content, and definitely hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
We ask you guys to do the same thing for Simon Family Investment Ventures. We appreciate everyone who joined us tonight. Those who are going to be watching this in the future, we love y'all, and we are here to give you guys as much information as we possibly can and to share our experiences with you so that we as a community can build that generational wealth that our children, our grandchildren into perpetuity deserve. So, do you guys have any closing remarks you want to make before we shut this down?
I don't
No,
have
I think there's a
anything.
few questions about Lolly and Fold. So it looks like TJ says, does Lolly let you self custody? No, you have to transfer those to your own wallet,
Hmm.
right? Well, yeah, they do let you self custody in the sense of you can transfer them off of the app. And then crazy. I mean, that's the Colonel, right? The Colonel said
That's a
Yes,
Fold
that's the
colonel.
sounds really,
Colonel.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I wouldn't say one is more efficient than the other. It's just that they.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost Tima.
I think we lost her. It's just depending on the route that you're trying to take. Pretty much, I think that's what she was going to say. And I
I
can't,
think her
I
phone died.
can't see I can't see. Did she answer? Because I can't see the comments.
That's the only comment. I can't even see TJ's comment. So,
Okay, okay, but yeah, so that's pretty much whichever route you're trying to take or whatever. But we like them. We like them both. So, but no, we appreciate you all. We thank you so much for this opportunity. We definitely will be doing it again. Definitely. Oh, hey.
My battery died. We were
I
on for
told you,
so
I said, I
long.
think it died.
No, but yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you guys. Like I said, we've always loved your content from day one. It's just so many different things you guys have spoken about, from homeschool to just being, overseas, living in different countries, and just, the idea of the family and, group economics and the different people that you guys have referenced. And I mean, it's so many different rabbit holes we could go down with you right now. Like, we could be on the phone with you guys for hours, literally, because,
Yeah.
I didn't even get to
We
ask my
on the
question.
show for hours.
Yes, like, it's just like, it's so much, but we appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, definitely. We didn't even talk about the feds on my back, but that's another show
That's
that we can
another
get
show
on.
for another day. It
Feds
is,
are on my back,
it's a little, there's
but
some
that's all
weird
right.
stuff happening. We
Look,
get it,
I didn't even
guys.
ask
We
what's today's
understand.
mathematics. Like, I didn't even get to ask my question,
Right.
like,
But we love y'all so much, and we're so glad to, do collaboration.
Yeah.
Stack, I want to shout out Stack, our content creator brother or cousin. We're gonna be content creator cousins. I'm gonna trademark that. So Stack, shout out, thank you so much for joining and giving a lot of insight in the chat. He cleaned up a lot of the conversation, putting the books and stuff in there. And I think there was an article that somebody brought up, and he was able to put it on there. So thank you guys so much. The gentlemen, we thank them for having this platform so that we can, as content creators, be collaborative, but be community as well and work together in order to give the education out that we know we need, right? To be the solution to the problem that is so obvious to us.
Yes, indeed.
So we are going to let you guys go on this beautiful Thursday evening. I know it's 10:50 on the East Coast, so we're gonna let everybody go. Jump out, girls. Don't go just yet. I just want to
Okay.
end the stream. So
Okay.
we love y'all, and we'll see
Thank
y'all.
you.
Have a good